Shanti, Baba's Sakar Murli, 15th of October 2021. Essence. Sweet children, while performing actions, consider yourselves to be my lover and remember me, the one beloved. It is only by having remembrance that you will become pure and go to the pure world. Question. What orders have you children been given by the Father at the time of the Mahabharat war? Answer. Children, the Father's orders are: be soul conscious. Give everyone this message. Now remember the Father and the kingdom and reform your behaviour. Become very, very sweet. Don't cause anyone sorrow. Instill the habit of staying in remembrance and become a spinner of the discus of self-realization. Make effort to move ahead. Shanti. You children are sitting in remembrance of the Father. There is no other spiritual gathering where everyone says that they are all sitting in remembrance of the Father. This is the only place. You children know that Baba has given the direction. Continue to remember the Father for as long as you live. Only the Parlokik Father says, O children. All the children are listening to him. He is not just telling you children, but telling everyone. Children, stay in remembrance of the Father, so that your sins of many births, which have accumulated rust, can all be removed, and you souls can become Satopradhan. You souls were originally Satopradhan, and then, while playing your parts, you became Tamopradhan. No one except the Father can speak these elevated versions. A physical father would have perhaps 2 or 4 children. They would be told to chant the name of Rama, or to chant the name of the purifier Rama who belongs to Sita. Or they would be told to remember Sri Krishna. He wouldn't say, O children, now remember me, your father. Their father is at home anyway, so there is no question of remembering him. The unlimited Father says this to embodied souls. It is souls who are sitting in front of the Father. The Father of you souls only comes once after 5,000 years, when you souls meet the Supreme Soul. The Father says, I come and teach you this lesson every cycle. O children, you have been remembering me. O purifier, come. I definitely do come. Otherwise, for how long would you continue to remember me? There would definitely be a limit. People don't know the limit of the Iron Age, that is, when it ends. The Father has to tell you this too. No one apart from the Father would say, O children, remember me. The main thing is remembrance. It is not a big thing to remember the cycle of creation. It just takes effort to remember the Father. The Father says, for half the cycle it is the path of devotion, and for the other half it is the path of knowledge. Knowledge is the reward which you receive for half the cycle. and then you receive the reward of devotion for half the cycle. This is the reward of happiness, and the other is the reward of sorrow. The play of happiness and sorrow has been created. There is happiness in the new world and sorrow in the old world. People don't know anything about these things. They say, "Take away our sorrow and give us happiness." The kingdom of Ravan continues for half the cycle. None of them knows that no one, apart from the Father, can take away your sorrow. Doctors cure illnesses of the body, but that is temporary. This is permanent for half the cycle. The new world is called heaven. Certainly, everyone would be happy there. Where would all the rest of the souls be? No one is able to think about these things. You know that this study is something new, and that the one teaching you is also new. God speaks. I make you into kings of kings. It is true that there is just one religion in the Golden Age, and so all the other religions would definitely have been destroyed. You now know what the new world is, what the old world is, and who resides in the Golden Age. In the Golden Age there is the kingdom of the one original eternal deity religion. It is a matter of only yesterday. This is a story of 5,000 years. The Father tells you that there used to be the kingdom of the deities in Bharat 5,000 years ago. By taking 84 births, they have now become impure. This is why they now call out, "Come and purify us." All pure souls reside there in the incorporeal world. Then they come down to play their parts, and so they go through the stages of Sato, Rajo and Tamo. Those who are Sato Pradhan are said to be viceless. Those who are Tamo Pradhan call themselves vicious. They believe that the deities were viceless and that they are vicious. This is why the Father says, "This knowledge will quickly sit in the intellects of the worshippers of the deities, because they belong to the deity religion." You now know that you were worthy of worship, and that you then became worshippers. Christians worship Christ because they belong to that religion. You are also worshippers of the deities, and so it means you belong to this religion. Deities were viceless and have now become vicious. There are so many assaults because of vice. The Father says, "By remembering me, your sins will be absolved, and you will become constantly happy." Here there is constant sorrow and temporary happiness. There, even though there is a difference in the status of each one, everyone remains happy. There is a kingdom of happiness and also a kingdom of sorrow. When the Father comes, the kingdom of vicious kings comes to an end, because the reward of this time ends. You children now know that you have to follow the Father's Srimad. The Father says, "Just as I am the ocean of peace and the ocean of love, so I make you the same." This praise belongs to the one Father. It is not the praise of any human being. You children know that the Father is the ocean of purity. When we souls reside in the supreme abode, we are pure. Only you children have this godly knowledge. No one else can have it. Just as God is the ocean of knowledge and the one who gives you the inheritance of heaven, so he definitely has to make his children equal to himself. Previously, you didn't have the Father's introduction. You now know that God, whose praise is so elevated, is making us just as elevated, and so you have to make yourself as elevated. Some say, "This one has very good divine virtues. He is like a deity." Someone who has a peaceful nature and never defames or insults anyone is said to be a good person. However, he doesn't know the Father or the world cycle. The Father now comes and makes you into the masters of the land of immortality. No one apart from the Father can make you into the masters of the new world. This is the old world, and that is the new world. There is the kingdom of deities there. That kingdom doesn't exist in the Iron Age, but all the other kingdoms do. Now, all the innumerable kingdoms are going to be destroyed, and the one kingdom established. Only when the kingdom no longer exists does the Father come and establish it. No one apart from the Father can do this. You children should have so much love for the Father. You would surely do what the Father tells you to do. Firstly, the Father says, "Remember me and do service by showing others the path." Those who belong to the deity religion will definitely be affected by this. We only praise the one Father. The Father has virtues, and so he only comes to make us virtuous. The Father says, "Children, become very sweet. Sit and tell others with love. God speaks. Constantly remember me alone, and I will make you into the masters of heaven. You now have to return home. The great destruction of the old world is just ahead." Previously, too, when God taught Raja Yoga, the great Mahabharat war took place. Now there are innumerable religions. In the Golden Age there was just the one religion, which has now disappeared. Now the Father comes and establishes the one religion and destroys the innumerable religions. The Father explains, "I create this sacrificial fire, and in order to take you to the land of immortality, I tell you the story of immortality. If you want to go to the land of immortality, the land of death definitely has to be destroyed. The Father is the creator of the new world, so he definitely has to come here. The flames of destruction are just ahead. People will then believe that you are telling the truth, and that is the same Mahabharat war. That is very famous, and so God also definitely has to exist here at this time. You can also tell them how God comes. You can tell everyone that God speaks to you directly. He says, "Remember me." In the Golden Age, all are Satopradhan, whereas they are now Tamopradhan. Now, become Satopradhan once again, so that you can go into liberation and liberation in life. The Father says, "It is only by remembering me alone that you will become Satopradhan and become the masters of the Satopradhan world. We are spiritual guides on the pilgrimage of Manmanapav." The Father comes and establishes the Brahmin, Sun and Moon dynasty religions. The Father says, if you don't remember me, the burden of the sins of many births will not be removed. This is your greatest concern. O my lovers, while performing actions and doing your business, remember me, your beloved. Each of you has to look after yourself fully. Remember the Father. Don't do anything sinful. Continue to give the Father's message to every home and tell them that Bharat was heaven and that it used to be the kingdom of Lakshmi and Narayan. It is now hell. This is the same Mahabharat war to destroy hell. Now become soul-conscious. The Father's order is, whether you accept it or not, I have come to give you a message. The Father's order is, tell everyone the Father's message. Some children ask the Father what service they should do. Baba says, continue to give the message. Remember the Father and your kingdom, and your final thoughts will lead you to your destination. Go to the temples and the Gita Pathshalas. As you progress further, you will meet many people. You have to uplift those who belong to the deity religion. The Father explains, become very, very sweet. If your behavior is bad, your status will be destroyed. Don't cause anyone sorrow. Very little time remains. Remember the beloved Father from whom you receive the kingdom of heaven. If any of you are unable to give knowledge, just sit in front of the picture of the ladder and think, we take births in this way, and this is how the cycle continues to turn. You will then be able to speak naturally. Whatever you think about internally, that definitely comes out externally. We will become pure by remembering the Father, and we will then rule in the new world. It is now our stage of ascending. There should be this happiness inside. We will go to the land of liberation, and then to the land of liberation in life. The income is very great. You may do your business, etc., but let your intellects simply remember the Father. The habit of remembrance has to be instilled. Become spinners of the discus of self-realization. If your behavior is bad, you won't be able to imbibe knowledge, and you won't be able to explain it to anyone. Make effort to move ahead. Do not lag behind. By doing service at exhibitions, you will experience a great deal of happiness. Simply tell them. The Father says, remember me. By remembering bodily beings, you accumulate sins. I am the one who gives you the inheritance. I am the Father of everyone. I come and take you into liberation and liberation in life. You children should be greatly interested in doing service at exhibitions and fairs. Pay attention to doing service. You children should think about these things by yourselves. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children. Love, remembrance, and good morning from the Mother, the Father, BaapDada. The spiritual Father says Namaste to the spiritual children. Essence Vedana. 1. Have total love for the one Father. Show everyone the true path. While doing your business, Look after yourself fully. Stay in remembrance of the One. 2. Have a great interest in doing service. Reform your behaviour and become a spinner of the discus of self-realization. Blessing. May you have the awareness of Karan Karavan Ha, brackets, one who inspires and one who does, and experience easy yoga and become an embodiment of success. While carrying out any task, have the awareness of who the backbone is, the one who made you an instrument. You cannot achieve success in any task without a backbone. So, while carrying out any task, simply think that you are an instrument and that it is the Almighty Father Himself who is getting everything done. Perform actions in this awareness, and you will continue to experience yoga to be easy. This easy yoga will then enable you to rule the kingdom easily. Your sanskars here will take you there. Slogan. Desires are like shadows, and if you turn your back on them, they will follow you. Om Shanti.